Fancy Nancy. Nancy takes the case. This is a story about a mystery, and Nancy is going to be a detective. We're going to hear some new words in our story. The great news is that Nancy helps us to understand those words as she's saying them. And as an added bonus, this story also teaches us words in a different language. There are going to be several words that Nancy says in French. So listen for those words as I'm reading, friends. Okay. Nancy takes the case. Sacre bleu! Oh no! There's a lot of snow outside. My friends and I have been stuck playing inside for hours. Lionel is reading a comic out loud to Bok Bok, his toy chicken. Wanda and Rhonda are playing with a balloon. They start to argue. Oh dear. Grace is looking at a catalog. She's looking for different gifts to pick out for herself. Grace and Lionel start to fight. Lionel, shh, Grace says. But I like hearing Lionel's comic books, Bree says. Grace does not like hearing it. Jojo and Frenchie escape. Come on, Frenchie, Jojo says. Everyone, arrêtez, I say. That's the French word for stop. I know we've been stuck inside this house forever, but we can still have fun. Nancy's trying to make everybody happy, but it looks like they're not having part of it. I try to get my friends to play Who Could Have Done It? It's my favorite board game, but they don't want to play. They want to go home. Oh, dear. Wait a minute, Lionel says. One of my comic books is missing. A missing comic book? That can only mean one thing. Someone took it. Ooh la la. It's a real-life mystery. We must investigate. Investigate is a fancy way of saying study the facts so we can decide who could have done it. I'm practically an expert at detective work. It's time we get serious about this case, I tell Bree. Let's go pick out our outfits. When we return, we ask our friends where they last saw the comic book. I question everyone, and Bree makes a sketch or a picture of where the crime occurred. That's called the crime scene. At last we finish. We look at Bree's drawing. Lionel said. You know, everyone had the chance to take my comic book. Oh boy. Next I look at motives. Motive is a fancy way of saying why someone would do something. So, looking at why, I talk to Rhonda first. Why did you take the comic book? I didn't, Rhonda says. Then I question Wanda. I look her in the eye. I bet you I can keep from blinking longer than you can. A blinking contest. I move on. Did you steal the comic book from Lionel to keep him from reading too loud? I asked Grace. Grace rolls her eyes. Please. Grace is saying she didn't do it. I even asked Lionel if he took his own comic book as a joke. Lionel holds up Bok Bok, his chicken. Nope, Bok Bok, he says in his best chicken voice. Then I move on to Bree. You don't really believe I took it, Bree says when I ask her. I'm a detective, Bree. I believe nothing and everything until I have the facts. Well, you like comics too, Bree says. Everyone in the room looks at me. They think I took the comic book. Oh, gee. I couldn't have taken it, I said, but I know who did. I pick up an envelope, hold it up, The answer is in here. I put the envelope on the table in the kitchen, and then I leave the room. It's a trap. You see, I'm sure the person who took the comic book will pick up this envelope. And then I watch. But when I come back, everyone's still in the kitchen. Nobody took the envelope. Tell us who did it, my friends say. Before I can tell them I don't know, we hear a noise in the living room. Who could it be? Maybe that's who took the comic book. It's JoJo. She does have the comic book. I like the pictures, she says. JoJo hands me the comic book. I believe this belongs to you, I say, handing the comic book back to Lionel. Voila! The case is closed.